I just want to know, before we get into your new business, what's the biggest difference between running a startup and working in banking?
Oh, where do I start? I guess one of the things I realize is how you in the corporate world, you tend to just do your work in a way with your eyes closed. You're not alive really. It's every day is the routine, is the sort of castration of initiatives, or anything that is new. You worked in banking, everything is super specialized.
Yeah.
So, we were just commenting earlier offline, whether you knew X or you knew Y, you are on the credit derivatives desk, right? And that's all you do, and that's what you specialize in, and you are the expert for that particular area, and potentially even for a particular region, right? Or a particular group of clients, right? And that's all you do. And you could do that for like 12 years, right? And you go into a meeting and you give your snippet as an expert, and that's it. And you go back to your desk and you do exactly the same thing. I was, I'm doing this more, it was an exciting side of banking, because it had, I was involved with electronic trading for equities. So you had a little bit of a sort of the evolution of technology, the trading side of it, the strategic side of starting something new when nobody was trading electronically. But, I was doing that, I guess, for too long, and it just became boring. And what you see here is I'm actually taking decisions, every day that can make a difference, for good or for bad. Right. And probably are things that I'm not necessarily an expert, and I just need to just go for your gut feeling, and it's exciting, it's scary also. So you just need to sort of load that rucksack and responsibility every day and just get on with it and try to make a difference. It's very, very different, obviously.
We've had companies like TransferWise in here, and other ones that are trying to challenge the banks, and we talk about the innovator's dilemma. Yeah. And by being in a banking company, I worked at ICAP, you worked in the banks, it's almost like the innovator gets crushed there. It's like no one wants to hear your new ideas. It's like, look, we're making great money, let's keep making great money. Any kind of a new idea, there's no real place for it in that banking structure.
I think they try to make it seem like they embrace good ideas. Right, and obviously they're telling you, yeah, of course, if you've got ideas, come to me, and we'll make it happen, and let's think outside of the box and blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's actually not true. Right. There is not, because culturally, there is this mitigation of risk, as you're saying. We're making money already. Let's not mess things up, right?
Let's not rock the boat, right?
Yeah, and it's not like they're bad people or anything. It's just like you said, a culture of where there's just no point in rewarding this kind of innovation.
And the person that makes the decision to push a new idea through isn't rewarded enough for them to take that risk, right? So
there's no big equity stake for them.
So they're just like, no, that's way more work, and I'm really not going to see the value or benefit. So we'll just leave it.
Yeah, or they just don't. They don't see the benefits of changing something that works, and at the end of the day, there's so many layers of management with or without budget. That it's just a grind and difficult to implement. So many times you just do like micro innovations, in your daily work, but obviously you're not really going to make a difference. In general.
Okay, as we're very well said.
It sounds like ex-Bankers Anonymous.
Yeah, exactly.
My name's Colin Pyle, and I'm an ex-banker.
Yeah. And no one has any sympathy for us bankers, so they're like, yeah, whatever. But
I have no bitterness. It's you understand the attractiveness of that security, and they pay you well, but I guess unless there's a few that get paid really, really well, and there's another, there's a big mass of people that they're just grabbed by the, I was going to say by the balls.
It's okay, you're allowed to say that here.
Yeah, I can say, yeah. You just sort of, it's just enough for you to sort of stay another year and another year and another year.
Yeah, so the cash flow is just enough to keep your all of your kids in private school, to keep your house payments, to keep your car payments. And then I bet all of your old colleagues in the banking are like, wow, look at what Fernando's doing. He's challenging his brain and all that stuff. But yet they still have the kind of golden handcuffs to keep them doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. So, and one of the things you say in that, is that, I find that it's just very difficult for people to realize generally. I mean, if you're not in the startup, or if you're not working in this, what it takes to actually do it, and as you say, it's exactly that. I meet, a lot of my friends are still obviously in this world, and you meet them and they're like, yeah, it's amazing what you're doing. They feel proud because in a way everyone generally wants an exit, right, from the rat race, right? But they don't realize how actually difficult it is. The other day, a friend of mine was like, yeah, he works in market, it's like, yeah, this is a little bit like a startup, and a startup's, and I'm building this and I'm like, no, excuse me. It's not a startup, believe me. You've got a huge budget. You don't have any of the risks, that, right. Here we're walking a really thin line, right? We have to juggle all these things, and there's no net at the bottom. And it's the first time you've walked that line, right? Or potentially, I mean, at least in my case, right?
Yeah, it's another thing that comes up on the show is that tech startup is considered very glamorous, and especially like the city people are like, oh wow, but then you're like, it's a daily grind, and your budgets are low, and the stakes are high, and we don't have office space, we don't have budget, we don't have this. So, anyways, I want to hear more about your business. So,
Silicon Valley, we'll meet with VCs, with corporates, with other startups, and usually at that point, like our startup that has been in the program for about 6 months kind of gets what they need to be doing, kind of understands what they need to do, and then they can really take full advantage of the US trip. Post-US trip, they tend to kind of already grow into the maturity stage, at which point they either continue coming to the sessions that they want to come to,